folks, Quilly Team here, and welcome to Let's Try ROGUETECH. ROGUETECH is a massive mod, or actually I should say, massive sort of collection of mods for BATTLETECH that aims to make the game more sort of broad and replayable and gritty and difficult and really interesting to play. Once you've sort of played through maybe the main campaign, you know, gotten the story out of the way, and then you're like, okay, but now I want that sort of true Mech Warrior experience. It is, I'm not gonna say like a total conversion, because that implies something a little bit different, but it's a pretty radical change to the game. You will have to start a new save, but what it does is it starts you basically like this, in control of the Argo, in orbit around a planet, with the entire galaxy at your fingertips. And I do mean like everything. If we go ahead and take a look at the star map here, you may see a wee bit more than the base game has. That is a lot of planets. Now, of course, the way that things work in BATTLETECH is all the systems and stuff just get tagged with a variety of attributes. And other than that, it's, you know, sort of more or less procedurally generated on the fly. But it is interesting to see how many mechanics we've got. The outer reach where we were before was, what, down over here, right? Arano Restoration, yeah, way down over here. Taurian Concordate, there you go. This is set a little bit in the future. I don't remember what year the main game is, but this is set in 3039. And this is sometime after the memory core from Helm's Deep is recovered in the sort of lore and timeline of the BATTLETECH universe. At some point, they find this old memory core, and a few years later, all of the great houses are able to start developing a lot of tech that was previously lost. So we're talking about new mechs, new types of weapons, and a lot of really interesting new combat mechanics that are run over here. So we got that. If we take a look, another big change and revamp that goes on in the sort of sim level of things are the contract systems. A lot more range. I mean, right from the start, 5-star, like 5 difficulty rating missions next to... Okay, sometimes there's even half skull difficulty missions to get started with over here. But what's interesting about this is there's still quite a lot of value. You can actually see that the cost difference, like this 1 skull thing, is still worth a fair amount of cash compared to the big ones over here. Yeah, this is worth more, and the salvage will be worth more because you're probably facing more difficult mechs, but it's not that far off. But the interesting thing is the way the mission, the cost to run a mission varies is kind of interesting. We'll talk about that more in a second. Let me go and pop over to the Mech Bay, though, because this is worth having a little bit of discussion to showcase some of the changes. So at the start of the campaign, first thing is it does generate for you, as your starting lance, a heavy, a medium, and 2 lights at random, which is really interesting. You're like, wow, you get to start with a heavy right away? Is that super strong and OP? Not so much, for reasons that we'll see in a second. In addition to that, and I think they put this in here as one of your starters that's not randomized, just to show things off, you start with this very special variant of the commando over here, which is a bit beefier than you might expect. They've got some story over here. Elite Battle Mech, yeah, this quote-unquote commando was found in deep periphery weapons cache that didn't quite look like SLDF, named after the Furies of Terran mythology. It packs a surprisingly mean punch for its size. So I think this is a really good way to show off some of the new parts and things like that you will discover as you play here. This is a 35-ton mech, but it punches well above its weight class. It's still fairly swooshy, but you can see it's got a lot of these components in here, starting with these ultralight gyros here, for example, which actually give you negative tunning. And these are some mechanics that existed in the pen and paper game. The tabletop game is you have things like this. So this, I mean, it takes up a bunch of slots in the thing over here. And it's quite expensive at 800,000 sea creds? I think so, as a base value for it. But it's kind of amazing. It gives you more space. On the other hand, you take a lot more stability damage and have a reduced stability threshold. So it's a lot easier to knock over one of these ultralight mechs, but man, oh man, you get to fit in some more stuff. We got a Supercharger over here, like this, movie plus 15% heat. So I think this is when you're hot. Right, a Supercharger is the engine output, allows it to sprint and shoot, as well as increasing walk and run distance at the cost of more heat produced. Oh, okay, yeah. So you move faster, but it generates some heat over here. What else we got? We got this targeting computer. over here, increased accuracy to your called shots. Called shots mechanics have been completely rewritten here. We've got some advanced materials here, which keep making us lighter and lighter and lighter. So this 35-ton mech, this quote-unquote 35-ton mech, is actually fitting more than 35 tons worth of stuff. Lots of arm mods here for bonus damage. I mean, we saw those sorts of things before. This guy gets to start with the double heat sinks. We've got TSM over here as well. Triple strength myomer. Myomer polymers or whatever are the are basically the sort of muscles that, in a very real sense, the muscles that make mechs work. And that was part of the thing that was sort of the ability to build these on the fly was another thing lost. When you're playing, you know, in sort of the tabletop setting, salvage was often these myomer bundles that you could then use to repair mechs and whatnot later on. So, you know, bonus movement over here. This guy really boogies. And then we've got pulse lasers over here. Flamer pluses. This is just a beast of a machine. So it really shows off some of the new parts and the ability to... Oh, I didn't actually look at the NSS. What is it? Right here. Bulwark, plus 20% heat, minus 45% signature, plus 1 defense. Null signature system is another Capellan endeavor to recreate lost Star League ECM. It trades heat generation for a reduced sensor and target signature, and best used with a electronic warfare suite. Cannot stack. Do we have a... Yes, we do have an electronic warfare suite over here. Bonus to evasion and sight, harder to hit. Combat roles are completely rewritten in this too. Again, partially as, you know, like... The mod itself, the ROGUETECH as a whole, has a goal, and it's doing that by leveraging a lot of other mods and putting them together, and it's really great. They have this component system. I don't know... This Firestarter I've started with did start with a bunch of extra flamers. This is very vanilla Panther. I think the Enforcer's all vanilla, nothing special, and the Orion as well. You're going to be fixed in 1 day, so I'm actually going to go ahead and just advance time for 1 day so that we'll have the Firestarter available for our next mission. Okay, so let's go and take a look at the contracts we might run over here. And again, there's a hugely wide range in missions that we run on this planet, and that's going to be the same case everywhere, which I really like. And even the missions I run, I think the way the missions operate are shaken up a bit. And certainly the first one that I did, the enemies did things I didn't necessarily expect. So let's take this one. Why would we run this one when we could run this one? It's almost as much money. More salvage. Maybe we won't salvage as many powerful mechs, but that'll be okay, and it'll be good for a demo. So I'm going to go ahead and negotiate this. This isn't one where I can get more rep bonus, it looks like, for whatever reason. So we'll go and do this way. We'll lean a little heavier towards the salvage, but you definitely, especially right now since we don't have any reps, so we can't really sell anything for very much, we can't necessarily go full salvage over here. I'm going to go something like this, and there are going to be reasons that we need to take a little bit more money than we might normally do it. All right, here's our mission over here, and take a look. Let me go and clear everything. So you'll see this area over here for operation costs, which we pay more to drop more expensive mechs. It's 20 grand to drop with the Orion versus 62 grand on that one. Oh, right. It's a fraction of the maintenance cost of the bots. So going with the Com Erie over here, right now I've got to pay 62 grand right off the top just for general sort of maintenance and whatnot for this thing. So their cost to run of operation is based on a fraction of the cost of your mech. Now, I'm still going to bring the Irinia with me because I really want to showcase that awesome stuff, and I'm going to put my main character in there as well. I could go with just this one mech as well, which is kind of interesting, but I don't think we're going to do that. It's a one skull thing. I'll leave the heavy behind. I'll go ahead with the medium and the two other lights. If nothing else, the Irinia plus Firestarter is a really, really, really fun combo because then you just like really light everyone on fire. And I guess we've got an injured person over here, so we'll just bring everyone else, and that's going to be okay. So it's going to cost us 98 grand just to do this drop. So between this and the fact that you pay increased maintenance for your mechs, in the base game, maintenance for your mechs is flat. It's the same for everyone, but in one of the mods in here makes it so that the maintenance for mechs is actually a percentage of their cost. So cheap mechs, especially light and medium mechs, you'll actually pay less than in vanilla, but for these really fancy ones with all the like bizarre components that are hard to maintain, plus, you know, your heavy and assault mechs, you're going to pay a lot more to maintain them. So there's a lot more thinking in terms of what your lens might be constructed at. But with the wide variety of missions available in all the systems, yeah, I think it becomes really viable to stay as a mech outfit that really specializes in sort of light and medium mechs. That combined with all the extra sensor packages that you can get make it really valid to launch a lance that is much more sort of classic in its composition, in terms that the most common mech lance layout in sort of standard story is something like 2 heavies, a medium, and a light, or something like that, where, you know, the light is really playing a recon sort of spotting role, using electronic warfare suites. You might not get spotted the same way, all kinds of stuff like that. So we got some lances, yada yada yada, destroy enemy lance. You know, there might be a reinforcement mission or something like that. We don't know. Looks like they're vague layout this way. I mean, pretty standard. But I like, look at the arena. Like the movement here is just crazy. The fire starter should move pretty well too. But you can see here this enforcer. Yeah, the fire starter can boogie like crazy as well. These guys are so much fun to play with. So we'll just sprint out. I guess we'll stop in the woods. There's a slight difference already you might have noticed in some of the evasion symbols. Evasion works very differently than in vanilla here. In particular, the bonus numbers you get from evasion change. The other thing that changes is I don't think you lose evasion pips from being shot at, but some of the mechanics are different. And a sensor scan is really powerful because it actually maintains over like 4 turns or something like that. You can see here I did a sprint and I still have an option to do something. I believe it's a specific part on the mech that allows me to do a sprint and still attack, albeit at a pretty high penalty. You might see some more modifiers over here. Less stability, suffers a stability penalty. I believe that's part of one of my techs. I think it's part of the sprint and fire component, actually. And walk 30%, supercharged engine, so we've got a bunch of variables over here. We've got evasive charges over here. Anyway, we'll just go ahead and say done. Notice it's not a brace because I did still sprint, so I still won't be able to do stuff. Let's just get a whole bunch of people up in the forest over here. You're going to do that, and I'll tell you to go done. And here, we actually might have better luck with a jump. Yeah, we can get on the other side of the hill. So jumps, of course, generate a little bit of heat. And one thing, in vanilla, I don't believe that jumping gives you an instability charge, and I really feel like it should, because there's no reason, like, when I got to the end of the campaign, I did finish the campaign, I was running all assault mechs, and I was full jump jets all the time, and it just, like, why would I ever move? I just jump jet everywhere. You tend to move a little further, you get more evasion pips, and it was fine. There's a little bit of heat generated by jump, but that's about it, and who cares? Oh yeah, one of the mods I failed to show you in the Mech Bay was one that, where do I want to move here? I guess I'll do a sprint. That's going to be fine. That gives you a lot more info on your tooltips, in particular for heat, so you can find out exactly how much heat your mech's actually producing. I mean, you could calculate it, right? Because you could go and look at all the heat generated by the weapons when they fire, add that all up, and then add up all the negative heat produced by your heat sinks and figure out, you know, what your break-even point will be and whatnot. But that was annoying, so there's actually a mod that will do that for you, which is very nice. So we're in combat mode now. We've got 4 mechs moving on here. These would just be moves. Of course, I could also sprint to maybe do a move and fire. You don't actually have jump jets. Now, maybe something like this would be good. We can get a lot of hit modifiers. In vanilla, you do get a bonus of +1 for being above, but I don't think you get a penalty to hit someone above you. I don't think, but here there is. So the fire starter isn't going to be able to close. You know what? Maybe, hold on. Let me just reserve here. One of them might move a little closer up. Yeah, someone's moving up there. Doesn't look like it's going to change anything range-wise. We don't have much in the way of a... Oh, and we got another sensor blip. We don't have much in the way of LRMs. In fact, I don't think we've got a single long-range missile on our current setup. So we're not really going to be able to set up for something too impressive. Yeah, SMERMs and PPCs here.
Yes, Commander. Receiving you.
The AC-10... Can you... No, we're not going to be able to get a shot with you. That's really annoying. Well, we'll move to... I'll move to here. We'll end up in the forest, and we'll take a shot. These are just going to be with like pulse lasers. The fire starters and that commando, when they run up and start meleeing things and flamering them, it's fun. So we do have a 74% chance to hit, and you're going to say 74? How is it not 70 or 75? Well, one of the mods, which actually I started running in my, well, quote-unquote vanilla run, was, I can't remember what it was called. I should really remember. Oh, Real Hit Chance is what it's called. Because, okay, one of the skills you can get on your Mech Warriors was gunnery. And each point in gunnery skill gave you an extra, I think it's 2.5% chance to hit. Well, that never showed up on these percentages, right? So if you had, say, because I always wondered, like, hey, how come it isn't showing me like the you know, the 12.5%? Like, why am I not seeing the 0.5 part of it? Why is it always, you know, it's 70 or 75 or 80 or whatever? Well, it just wasn't including that in the calculation before. So it if it showed you that you had an 80% chance to hit, but you had a pilot, you had a Mech Warrior who had like the gunnery that added 12.5, then instead of being an 80% chance to hit, you actually had a 92.5% chance to hit. And apparently that was calculated in, but wasn't shown. I'm like, well, that's not helpful. The other thing is, apparently in the base game, there's like this anti-streaking sort of mechanic. Like, if you miss a shot, then there's actually a hidden bonus to your next shot to make it more likely that you will hit or something, so that, you know, to avoid some of those XCOM situations where you keep missing your 90% shots. Anyway, so that's all been removed. And then in addition to that, there's a lot of extra modifiers to mess with here. I don't know if it's really showing this off. We do have a +1 to our difficulty because of the height difference. He's higher than I do, so I've got a penalty to hit over there. Still, 74% chance is pretty good. Notice he's got the 3 pips of, well, evasion, but it's not really evasion anymore. And after I fire, he actually won't lose a pip of that. Very, very different mechanics. It's actually an panic check. So in classic BattleTech, you have to do a lot of piloting and different roles for your battle mechs all the time. Of course, we've got reinforcements flanking us. I'm just trying to demo things here, and the game's got to go and be jerky. Just a vehicle, which isn't too bad. I guess I'll move up to here so that I'll have 2 things in my arc, and I'm kind of going to twist a little bit here to show the other vehicles. Yeah, okay, no modifiers to speak up over here, neither over there. Okay, so this is really low chance to hit, right? A 26%. Is it even worth taking the shot at that point? And it's actually really worth talking about because a lot of these things will have recoil as well. Oh, by the way, over here, called shot. So it's not, I can't remember what it was called in vanilla. This called shot one costs very little morale, right? So vigilance, I think is unchanged, and it's got a morale cost, which actually I think has gone up. I'm not sure. But called shot's a lot cheaper. The difference is, while you can called shot all the time, it does give you a +6 penalty to hit. So if I turn this on, you can actually see our chance to hit has actually gone down 12% over here. So that's much closer to the pen and paper game. So I might turn off the AC, because I think the AC will give us a recoil penalty next turn. So we may as well turn that off. I guess we could go ahead and take the 26 shot, because, you know, that's fine. This one did take a little bit of armor damage. Alternatively, I could just brace and be ready for the vehicles to attack from the side. Here, we'll take the shot. That's fine. Hey, we hit! Awesome. So every time a mech gets hit, I think... Oh, there's fatigue as a trait, too. I don't know if it's every time they get hit, because clearly not there, but something's going to happen to cause people to do a roll to see if they panic. And the percentage chance of them panicking is based on, I think, how much damage they've taken. It'll actually start showing you percentages when there's a chance. And the pilots will go ahead and eject when they're panicked, which is very cool. But I believe that will happen to your own pilots as well. So again, here we can move up and potentially take a shot. It's interesting. I don't know why we're getting a dashed line there. It might be a range issue. I mean, since there's basically going to be no accuracy anyway, I'll sprint to here. Just try to get maximum number of movement. I think one of the mods is also accelerating the animations for combat, which is really nice. So, 26%. You know what? I'm not even going to bother taking the chance, the shot. I'll just add some heat and do things like that isn't gonna matter very much. I would love to end up in the forest, so I will take the jump there despite the penalty to stability. We're gonna take the cover. 32% chance of the PPC. Like, is it worth taking the shot? Again, that's a lot of heat. This mech runs really hot. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just brace and try to get some better percentage shots going on over here. So I think it feels like, and I mean, this is clearly still very early in ROGUETECH, but, oh, you bastard. Oh, LRMs have changed a lot. They do tend to be, a little less accurate might not be the best way to describe it. They do tend to be less clustered as well. So it'll spread the damage out a fair bit. And, you know, which is good. There we go. Panic check. See, my own characters have a chance to panic and eject out early. And one of the things is you don't auto-recover your own mech. You will potentially get them as salvage when they get, you know, when the mech gets quote-unquote destroyed. Although a bugged-out mech really doesn't do quite as badly. Now, I would love to just get a melee shot on these, but they are still out of range. I'm wondering... I can't jump into the woods. Well, I can over here, but then I don't get quite as much line of sight. I really want to max out vision. Some of these are obstructed. There's a mod that adds color coding to your shots to show you shots more clearly that would be obstructed, so you get a penalty to hit, as well as indirect fire's got a whole other color, I think, although we don't have an indirect fire person over here. So jumping to here might make us a little bit vulnerable to get shot by the vehicles. So you know what? I will jump to here. Looks like the evasiveness is about the same either way. So we'll do this.
Got it.
Again, generating a little bit of instability by doing this. But I think in this case it's well worthwhile. So 40% is as good as we can get. They're still above us, which is kind of annoying. And a lot of movement. Still, I'm going to go ahead and Alpha Strike this fire starter over here. Missed with the PPC. What is that? 1 SRM hit? Ugh. Very poor. Yes, move into melee range or something. Oh, we did get hit fairly hard over here. Was that an AC hit that had hit us? I think so. A little Irby over there. Oh, and some more damage there. Resist this panic check. Good. I wonder if I should just wait for some more.
What's up, boss?
I wonder if there's any chance anyone will move into melee range. Like maybe this urban mech? It's possible. Because we're pretty darn close. That's yeah. Let me reserve, because both mechs that are left are really mechs that do best if they can melee. Urban mech jumps forward. I believe that'll be within melee range. Ow, 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 ow. Remember, Panther's a light mech here. Or, yes, light, not medium. Yes, light.
Reporting structural damage.
Yeah, we're going to have to jump away with you soon. But, for now, this is great stuff. So, Rocket, in her heavily modified commando, the Irenia over here, is going to go and melee this urban mech. Which gets to avoid a lot of these things. And, of course, flamers and other small weapons do get to fire in melee attack. Apparently, they also get to fire when you do a death from above, which is crazy. So we're going to come over here. Let's say get a little flank. That doesn't really apply here. Oh, structure exposed right away. And then burn, baby, burn. Okay, enemy turn. Who dat? It's probably one of the vehicles off screen that was just moving. I'm gonna go ahead and take the other melee attack over here and come there. That should be okay. So the fire starter is gonna do basically the same thing, and it wouldn't surprise me if we got a shutdown on this mech. Boom. Generate enough heat, they shut down. Shutdown's another way to get guaranteed called shots on a mech. Of course, we're doing structural damage as well, now that they're overheating. Mech shut down. There we go. Oh, and a knockdown. So we're getting multiple effects over there, which is great. Pilot injured. One of the optional mods, which I didn't realize until I started the video, so it's actually not here. I'd have to restart the game. But I am going to be installing it. It's something called Injuries Hurt. Remember one of the things I've talked about in the game, like your pilot gets injured, but it doesn't give you any penalties at all to gameplay. Oh, I'm getting fire started in response. Well, that's what this mod does, is it actually gives you a penalty to your stats. Oof.
Armor breach. Internal damage.
It gives you a penalty to your stats for every tick of injury that you get, which I think is the right way to go. Now, I could attempt to fire from here, but yeah, this range, well, target moved is mostly the thing. You know what? Maybe I will shoot from here. That's the shutdown slash fallen mech. I could move up. I think my chance to hit would still be really, really good here. Oh, am I not going to have line of sight? Nope. Shoot! No, I didn't actually want to complete the move. I was trying to select the mech. Arg! Yeah, so I don't actually have line of sight over the downed one, so that's really frustrating. I guess I'll take the shot against this Irby over here with half-decent chances to hit. But, whoops. I really just wanted to see if I could select them. I forgot that that would lock in the movement. Oh well. Misclicks happen. So I'm happy the reinforcements haven't actually done anything yet. This poor Panther's definitely taken a beating. So far, so good, though. Oh, here we go. Is that vehicle fire from the side? No, well, or from someone with the RLRMs, but again, they're still missing. So they're not as dangerous as they were, but they can still do a crazy amount of damage, especially since you can actually get a lot of components to help buff this missile fire, and there's vision things and all kinds of different stuff. I mean, right now, it's just the enemy is not a very strong enemy to worry about with these lerms, but I think you can still make some pretty dangerous stuff. It's just, in the vanilla game, like, mass LRM is just the only option. It's realistically, if you're doing anything other than just, like, swarming the enemy with LRMs, you're making the game slightly harder on yourself. You're making the game way more interesting, but yeah. Oh, yeah. So, you are unstable and everything. I kind of still want to run up here and take some shots. I might leave this fire starter alone, though, and just go and wail on the urban mech. Stability warning be damned. Let's go. Let's go do what we do best. Bam! And burn. Resist fire, panic check. I don't know. Once your mech is like glowing bright red, I would start panicking a little bit more. It's actually not above your heat limit. And then you're going to try to jump away. Picking on the Panther some more. Oh! Blowing away the left arm and torso over here. And jarring a knockdown and giving us a fatigue debuff too. I probably should have moved the Panther first, actually. Oh, but you just lost an initiative action, so other people are going to get to take a move. That's really poor. I can keep picking on this guy, but he's still super hot. What's he going to do, really? I think what might be best is trying to punch this urban mech into the back and hitting it with more heat, probably causing another shutdown. We can one-punch the torso. And yeah, massive amounts of heat. He was already pretty hot. I bet you he shuts down. Or we take advantage of our ammo cook-off mod here, which, if I'm remembering it correctly, can cause ammo explosions due to extremely high heat. I believe that's what it does, and I think we just saw it in all of its glory right over there. So again, lots of extra mechanics here. I don't know, those reinforcements haven't really shown up, but I guess they're still just missiling us from off the screen. That was a shocking amount of miss with the flamethrowers there.
Getting banged up pretty good.
I think you should come up and punched us instead of jumping, and your heat is critical. Of course, jump jet heat is a real thing. Okay, thank you for missing with that called shot. I appreciate it very much.
Ready for order.
There we go. So let's go ahead and stand up our Panther here. So what do we got going on? Tag. This target was tagged. And prone. Well, we're no longer prone, but we're still tagged. We've lost our Smurms. I mean, I should probably break a bunch of line of sight. Yeah, I should do something like that. I'll still get a fairly good to-hit chance over here. I'll be in the woods.
Right, Commander.
Some people might not have a line of sight without moving a bunch more. And I can get this shot over here. I will overheat by taking this shot, but that's okay. Now, if we were looking for salvage, you know, finishing the legging might be good. But I think what's going to happen over here is we're going to go and just try to shoot him. See if we can knock off a torso. Plus, this could cause some more ammo explosions. Alright, torso's gone. There you go. You can see the panic checks happening over there. Guts tactics check, 18%. So I think there was an 18% chance of failing that guts check, and this person would have just punched out right away. So we can start piling on. You just stood up and braced, I think. Now, if we don't move, there we go. That's a pretty good shot over here. We could potentially move into small laser range. But I think I'm fine with this. Boom! Lots of stability loss from the AC cannon shot as well. 25% chance, no punch out yet. Yeah, you can see it's the reinforcement vehicles coming in over here. There we go. Galleon taking a shot finally in the Enforcer. The Enforcer hasn't really been touched so far, which is good. And the Enforcer is, I was going to say heavy mech, medium mech, actually, but my heaviest mech. And we're 3 light mechs over here in a fairly massive fight. Maybe I should have brought the Orion after all. But lighter mechs are a lot more fun. You know, everything's just a lot more edgier seat, scary. I think these are more long-range LRM fire. Okay, a couple of hits. I think they're moving slowly and slowly closer and closer, too. That might be affecting some of it. Oh, and another vehicle is going. Yeah, someone's definitely moving over here. And some more alarm shots. Peppering the area. These poor trees. They didn't ask for this.
Standing by.
Okay. So let's take a look. Rocket over here has this crazy amount of stuff going on. So yeah, forest, cover, targeting computer improves aspects of weapons. Melee damage increased, very good. ECM interference, make this unit harder to hit, lovely. Reduce sensor signature, reduced by 35%. Might make it, and stealth system. Like, there's ways for us to sort of maybe sneak up a little bit more reliably with things. We do have a little bit of heat, I think because we got flamered a bit, actually. We could just punch the guy while he's down. Although, again, we can probably cause this fire starter to shut down. I'm not... Well, no, I do have a little bit of heat accumulated. I think I actually will just go and attack this fire starter here. Right, arm destroyed. Resisted panic check. And probably force a shutdown here. 52 heat. Now, the thing is, fire starters do have a crazy amount of heat sinks. They need it because, well, actually, I don't know about the computer game here, but in the pen and paper game, like, using flamers generates a lot of heat. I assume that's still the case here.
Receiving you.
Okay, this fire starter has a lot of instability. No, I mean, I should drop some focus fire. This urban mech's almost dead. And he's still gonna go. You've already gone. Okay, let's target this urban mech. Because you haven't gone yet. We might be able to kill you. Left leg destroyed. I think he passed his check. He is stressed, though. The pilot himself stressed. And set him on fire. We triggered knockdown. No shutdown, though. More pilot injuries. Pilot incapacitated. Boom. Excellent. Too many pilot injuries, so you've been taken out from that. Don't have to destroy a mech. And actually, by doing it that way, assuming... Yeah, we should get a lot of salvage options, which is nice. Okay, this poor Panther, who's getting his butt kicked, he's just got a PPC left. Can't attack anything as is. Are we being blocked by our own mech? Yeah, we are, but not here. 6% chance to hit that guy. My God. I'd rather not leave the forest. We don't have a shot now. I mean, I'd love to brace and reset this rather than jumping around or anything like that. And we are overheated right now. You know what? I think what we have to do is just brace, knock down the heat to stop that from being a problem, get some of our stability back, although not all of it. All right, this urban mech standing up. He's still pretty warm, though. Jumping's not going to help either. Oh, you tried to death from above me. Thank you for missing, though. Holy cow, that would have been poor. That would have been really poor. I think he had a small laser as well, so he was able to throw that in, but he missed as well. Holy cow. All right, you. I guess you don't have line of sight. So I think I'm going to move to here. This will actually... Wow, that's a poor shot. Are these vehicles really that hard to hit? But we haven't really taken damage. This will give us our small laser shot as well. Why so... Can I... I don't remember if you can... Can I right-click to load the stats? No, I just wanted to see what the modifiers were going to be for that. And see, is there a way that I can get this shot a little bit better? No, this looks like the best bet. Is do something like that. We'll have the Enforcer face the vehicles. And maybe we can actually get some melees in there, too. Yeah, the odds actually went down a little bit more than it looked. Sensors impaired. And we ourselves move, so that's the thing, too. You get a penalty for some of your own movement. Still, we may as well just take this shot. It'll take some luck to hit. Ah, yeah. But if we had... The vehicles are fairly squishy. We'll just go ahead and have to step on it next turn. And hope that that's okay. Although they are going to have a huge round of assaults here. You might get a behind. Wow, the galleon moves fast. Yeah, you're more interested in firing at the Panther. Although, the Panther might be in melee range here. So that actually might be a decent way to go about this here. This is going to be a lot of vehicles moving back to back. Yeah, they're just super speedy here. Okay, Lerm Swarm. Ooh, did we get knocked down? Because they actually have line of sight. That's no longer... Oh, we're punching out! There was only... Oh. There's only a 15% chance? You punk. I mean, you were pretty heavily damaged, admittedly, but I think we had the situation under control. I love it, by the way. I love it so much, these new mechanics. So now, all of a sudden, getting the, you know, guts and things like that make it really important for staying in, as well as, like, chances to succeed against different things.
Yes, Commander. I'm here.
All right, well, we're going to start over here. That's fine. Heat-wise... I don't know if we can force any shutdowns, but we're going to try. I think I'm going to focus... I'm going to focus on the urban mech. I'm actually not too... Well... I'm actually worried about... Because you can't... Right, when you're in melee range already, you can't change where you are. So tell you what, I'm going to get the fire starter to go first. And we're just going to try to shut down one of these guys who might cause some threats to my Arenya. Bam. Resisted the panic check. A little bit of heat. And you got shut down. Good. Now, I could still follow up to try to kill it, but the important thing is to try to deny that thing in action. Alright, it just spent the time repowering up, but that's its action now. So now I feel quite confident about turning around and hitting the urban mech, and we might be able to force a shutdown there. It also is super unstable, so we should be able to knock it down, if nothing else. Maybe cause enough pilot injuries. Bam! So, I mean, this fight has not been handled very well, admittedly. Oh, tactics check finished, but you got an ammo explosion, and you should fall over and cause another pilot injury. Right? And that's probably going to be the last of it. Urban mechs are not great mechs, but, I mean, I'll take salvage where I can get. There we go. Pilot incapacitated. Wonderful. More salvage, and a slightly easier kill. Although, again, we did lose one. That was a lot of damage from that autocannon, I think.
Ready for orders.
Okay, adrenaline over here. I think I'm going to turn around and wipe out this galleon. Yeah, I can't actually melee any of these right now. So I'll just go for this. We'll end up in the forest.
Moving to position.
And terminate it that way.
Locked on for physical attack.
Very disappointed we lost the Panther there, because the Panther would have been able to go and melee kill this. And wasn't going to get destroyed this turn, I don't think. So that pilot punch-out was definitely premature, and is going to cost us some stuff. And like, alright, fair enough. Legit. Rookie pilots, man. Structure exposed, it's a little scary. That's to the front as well.
Armor breach. Internal damage.
Although, yeah, the Arenya has taken a fair amount of beatings. This might be a net loss mission. Now, admittedly, I haven't played it super well. But also, I think it goes to showcase a lot of the new mechanics really well. And how, like, if you want a more seriously difficult experience, this is the way to go. Because the base game is not that hard, especially since you can just sort of grind up to, you know, infinitely assault mechs and just, you know, raffle stomp everything because of cost. Well, now, like, even if you got a bunch of assault mechs, like, how are you going to pay for all that? It's going to be a bit of a challenge. I think stepping on the vehicle has to be our priority. They do a lot of damage, and they're so easy to kill. I could consider turning off my flamers for this attack here. But I don't think it's actually a problem, and on the really weird chance that I don't one-shot this with a stomp, the flamers do a little bit of damage. I mean, the biggest thing they do is generate a lot of heat, but they do a little bit of damage. So we're going to do that. If this was an ammo-driven thing, or if I was worried about my mech's heat, then turning that off would have been a lot more important.
Frag the vehicle.
Alright, this fire starter is moving. Don't death from above me. Okay, no. I mean, you came behind me, which sort of sucks. But overall, that was okay. Firestarter's heat is critical, which is interesting. Now, I can't melee this guy. Although I could death from above. I can even death from above this panther, which is interesting. Although, I'm sorry, is one of my legs already completely foobarred? So maybe we shouldn't do that. Might still be worth doing some sort of jump stuff, though. This guy hasn't actually gone yet. You know, just doing this is probably okay.
On the move.
If my leg wasn't damaged, I would have death from above this guy. But there's always a chance that you miss, and it's pretty terrible. So let's do this. Hopefully inflict some real damage on him. I don't know if we'll be able to cook him enough to, you know, force him... Well, he might not be able to fire his entire complement of weapons. That's probably the most we can hope for. Are you DFA? Ow! You bastard!
That shot got past my armor.
Ow! These guys are being rude. Plus 0 heat? Super unstable, though. Is anyone else going right now? No, there'll be vehicles next turn. I could DFA him back, but that seems a little stupid. I can't melee any of the vehicles. I mean, I think the thing to do is to attack this guy. I could punch him and still fire off the small laser. Now, since I'm not actually going to move, just turn, I wonder if that'll help me bleed off some stability. I'll sort of be exposing my back to these vehicles, but I think this is still fine. Since we have the small laser, I'm going to go for it. And also, physical attacks are really likely to knock people over as well, which is going to be good. We blasted off his right arm. Heavy rifle crit. I don't even know what the heavy rifle is. It's a different type of, like, AC? He's going to have an initiative penalty for the next round as well, which will be good. And yeah, there were 2 more vehicles over there. So, are we going to get shot in the back? No, just in the side. But smurms like that? That's pretty brutal. Okay, did surprisingly little. And then here comes the striker. What are you up to? I like that you moved into melee range, though. I think that's going to be in melee range as well. The Arenya moves really fast. We do have to worry about this Firestarter, of course.
Reporting minimal damage. Standing by.
Now, you still have to go. You're fairly hot. I think the thing to do is to start with the Firestarter and go and attack this guy and burnate him a bunch. I couldn't have meleeed him, right? No, not with the ledge there. I don't think there was a way for me to get there.
Roger.
So that should cause you to shut down and not do anything this turn. And we have initiative over the vehicles, so we should be able to go and step on them. Oh, we'll have to look at the Mech Warrior skills after this as well, because a bunch of them have been changed.
I'm here.
All right, Rocket, go and step on that. Go and stand sort of here. I think I'll feel better. You'll be facing the right way to run into other people. Like, the other way you'd be closer in hexes, but the turning would cost you some of your movement. Okay, done and done. Now, of course, one of the nice things about these mods is almost all of them have a text file that you can edit to tweak the settings. So, for example, if you want it so that your mechs that, you know, your people punch out, you get to, like, grab the mechs again automatically and for free, not counting them as salvage, you could do that. One of the mods I've showcased before that is part of this is when you salvage a mech, you don't get a fully intact mech with all the weapons in your bay. The default, if you just download the mod by itself, has the mech completely 100% damaged with no weapons or anything. I felt that was a little aggressive, and I went and like tweaked those settings on my own anyway. But the baseline settings in ROGUETECH is actually very similar to what I like. There's a percentage chance for each body part to be intact, and there's a percentage chance for each component in there to be intact, and you can swap those around. So, as important as it is to take out this Panther, although he's already acted this turn, so what I need to do is take out this this vehicle here. That is the top priority. Because he hasn't acted, he's going to. Plus, this is almost certainly a guaranteed kill. There's a chance you can miss. I think these vehicles are squishy enough, especially with our bonus to melee damage against vehicles. I think that as long as we hit, it should be a kill regardless. But there's a chance you can miss, which is pretty poor. Okay, Firestarter's going to go. Alright, he didn't DFA, he didn't even attack, which is nice to see. I can't melee here. I can melee here.
Yes, Commander.
I could move in here. I mean, this Panther's some threat. And actually, still needs to act. There's no really way for me to prevent him from acting. We're not going to be able to overheat him enough. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we can do something. Maybe we can force a panic check. Let's focus on the guy who hasn't done anything yet. Again, we could call shot him. Substantial penalty to hit. So we're down to... Well, still 80% on the pulses. The flamers are a lot less likely to hit. The nice thing, if we do hit him in the leg, it will knock him over. He'll lose an initiative phase. I mean, he doesn't have a weapon other than the flamer left, although he can still melee and do a lot of damage. So yeah, let's go ahead and try to take out the leg. Excellent. So just by falling over, he loses an initiative phase. So it means we're going to get to go and act some more probably here. Yeah, he's going to operate on a 2. Perfect. Yeah. So my Enforcer will probably be able to deal with that. So I'm going to get my Firestarter to here, stand in the woods over here and do that. We'll ignore this guy. So this guy braced. But we get to ignore a lot of that. Melee him. And we don't have a bunch of bonus melee damage on this guy. The commando does. And then put him on fire. He'll probably take internal damage at the least. Yeah, no shutdown. Well, that's okay. Alright, you're going to go. And you're down. I could go and just... Well, I'd have to turn. But I could set up for a big called shot, which is probably the way to go. Actually, I will, because as opposed to punching him, right, which would be a good source of damage, plus my small laser would go. But I can... Oh, that's pretty low chance. What I might just go is the torso here, because he's probably 1 injury away from being shut down. How much armor and stuff does he have in here? A total of 55, which really, as long as we get a hit with either the AC-10 or both lasers. Alright, I mean, it's a low chance to actually hit that leg. Oh, there we go. We got it. Both legs destroyed. So you're out, and that's going to be more salvage. Although, one of the mods in ROGUETECH changes the amount of salvage you need to get a mech from 3 to 5. Firestarter is going to go here.
I'm receiving you.
And...
Waiting for orders.
Oh, that's me. There's my target. So this should be fairly easy to finish off. So we'll keep doing melee attacks with these guys. Melee plus fire. 45 damage, no components blown off. Passed your check. But this should be another shutdown. I don't know if you can do pilot injuries through overheat. That seems like something that should happen. Pass your check again. Shut down again. So now we can do called shots. Since you're not moving. And maybe we want to consider that. What are you exactly looking like? I mean, we could leg you. Probably the best shot here is actually going to be a melee you for the knockdown to generate the injury. Because you're so unsteady that you're going to get knocked down from a punch. Generate the injury that way. Knocking out side torsos, like the left torso there, also generates injuries. So the flamers don't matter. We could have even considered turning that off. Another torso goes away, or maybe that's the same one. Knockdown will lead to another injury, which is probably the last blow for that pilot. No, just injured.
Orders.
Okay. Well then, let's get ourselves in the line of sight over here. Really cut back on the heat. I don't know, we probably just center torso you at this point. Fine.
Engaging with target.
I'm picking up a new
Pilot
sensor
eject.
trace. Looks like enemy reinforcements.
Oh, that's an old message though. Because I think we're done. Yeah. All right. I think this mission was set up so that when you kill the first Lance, you get the note about the reinforcements, but we'd clearly already seen them. We killed them first. So, yeah, that didn't do as good as we'd like. We did get the bonus cost. Again, operation cost over here. The way the mod implements it is sort of a submission over here. So our payout is only 205. But we still made money-ish, barring losing the mech here. So we didn't lose it. This Panther is back. It's going to need a lot of repairs, including repairing the head, right? Because one of the things that happens when you eject, it always destroys the head. That's part of what goes on over there. So the head, the torso, the arm, which may have already been lost, I don't know. But there, you get some of it back, and some of it not back. So a fair amount of damage, okay. One of the mods is called Better Sorting, which always puts Lost Tech stuff at the top, then mechs, then weapons then components like this, and then weapons with like pluses over here, which is a lot handier probably for things. I don't know if we're going to focus specifically on getting these mechs. I don't even know if we're going to focus on getting the double heat sinks. Probably. I mean, they take a lot of slots, but a lot more heat dissipation for the tonnage. Do we just grab the 3 heat sinks? We could get another movie here. More heat, but a lot of speed. Lasers plus 10 damage bonus. That is huge. Because is it taking them from a 25 to a 35? That is insane amounts of damage. I kind of feel like I want to grab those two as the top priority. And then since we don't even have a single part of any of these mechs, we'll just go ahead and grab one of these heat sinks. And I mean, we'll probably get some of the mechs as part of our random salvage. Yeah, 4 parts of an urban mech over here. Although, we need 5 to complete it. And yeah, I don't have any salvage for that already. So we're going to take a look at the Mech Warrior skills in here. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this mod. You know, to a certain extent, it's going to make the game more grindy. Well, you don't have a campaign, right? So it's not like, oh, it's going to take longer to complete the campaign. No, you're just playing for the fun. Like, what's your goal? Can you actually assemble a full squad of assault mechs? Is that even viable in any way? I don't know. Anyway, let's go and take a look at our Mech Warriors over here. So, as far as I know, the individual pips for like gunnery, piloting, guts, and whatnot are the same. You know, +1 health over there. Indirect fire penalty, I think that's pretty much the same. However, the skills are a bit different. So multi-target is still the same. What's going on here? Breaching shot just lost its icon right now. It was there before, so I don't know. Evasive movement generates extra evasive charges from movement actions up to its maximum and jumps 20% further. Hello! Jump distance is nice. Ace pilot can move after shooting. Yep, so I think that's about the same. Over here, Juggernaut is now the level 4 Guts ability as opposed to the level 7. And it also, I don't think the vanilla version increases melee damage, right? I think it only knocked in that back in initiative phase. I'm not sure. And the thing is, the game, it was always a problem with Juggernaut that it was such an expensive, high-level skill, and if you're fighting, by the time you get it, you're fighting assault mechs. Assault mechs are already in the slowest possible initiative phase phase 1. A lot of people made an argument that it might be a good idea to make an initiative phase 0, which isn't normally used, except for when you give a initiative phase penalty to an assault mech or something like that. But the fact that this still gives you melee damage is pretty nice. And then we've got Bulwark over here, which still does what it does. It gives you guarded when remaining stationary, but it also increases melee damage by 10% and allows shooting after melee strikes. What? That's crazy. So I think like you can really do a great like melee oriented mech, and especially like if there's costs and stuff like that. Imagine we keep running some of these mechs with flamers or other small weapons, right? Load you up with machine guns or small lasers or something like that, and all the mods that you can get on the mechs, and get someone who goes up to at least Bulwark, maybe finishes Guts, and then tackles a bunch of piloting so that you can get, because piloting helps to determine your melee hit chance, right? And actually the evasive movement is going to be really handy for that as well. You don't really need ace pilot. I mean, it's not bad, but yeah, so you end up with your skills going that way, and I think that's definitely what's going to happen. Anyway, tactics over here. Master Tactician, I believe, is the same as before, although wasn't that a level 7 as opposed to level 4? +1 initiative, and you get regain stability when reserving, which is really nice. And then sensor lock over here. It's gone up in level because it's quite a bit more potent in this version because it lingers, I think, for 4 turns, if I read the mod notes correctly. And the fact that evasive charges don't get removed with every shot makes this so much more powerful. Because it was like, why would I sensor lock to remove 2 pips of evasion when I could just shoot, still remove 1 pip of evasion, and maybe do some damage? One of the things I finally did realize is you could sensor lock someone you didn't actually have line of sight on. So someone you just had like a sensor image of, you know, when there's just like an orange sort of outline in the wilderness, you could sensor lock those people in vanilla, and then you would get vision. I didn't realize that like you could sensor lock someone you couldn't actually see. So it granted vision that way and allowed you to start doing some range shots. So it's less bad than I anticipated, but now this is like so much sexier, and I like it a lot. So yeah, I guess we didn't actually look at the ship upgrades because I think this is different as well. I don't think there's as many. Yeah, there's not as much stuff going on here for the ship upgrades. Probably less ability to stack a bunch of free morale is one thing. And yeah, you can't even like heal your people as quickly. There's not going to be as many mech bays. Supports up to 12. Yeah, so that's interesting. Unless things start to reveal themselves. I'm not sure we gain access to Bay 3 anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure you gain access to Bay 3 anymore, which is kind of interesting. I'm not running any upgrades right now. It'd be nice. Some of them are fairly cheap, though, at 90. I should really start that one. I think the Recreation, yeah, these morale boosters are so much more expensive. I must be running an upgrade. I can't purchase. What is it? Yeah, power conduits. There you go. So we got that. A bunch of my pilots are out of action. There is there's another mod. I didn't install it, or did I? Ain't No Time to Bleed, which allows you, so people, mech warriors who are injured, assuming they're not too injured, and it depends on your medical skill, can still pilot a mech. But, of course, they have fewer hit points at that point, so they could die more easily in battle. And if you combine that with injuries hurt, where you're going to penalty to your stats as a mech warrior based on your injury levels, then it becomes really poor. But it's interesting as an option. Probably what I want to do is order some extra, or hire some extra people as early as possible here. I don't have the mech warrior rating to get some stronger people, but, you know, we could just pick up, say, Dash over here. It's probably worth doing that just to make sure we've got someone else. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up here. Again, this isn't going to be a Let's Play or anything like that, but I thought it'd be worth checking out. I'll include a link down below in the doobly-doo. Again, if you do choose to install this, do keep in mind you've got to install the BattleTech mod loader first and read the instructions on that page because it requires you to put it in the folder, like a special folder, and then run an executable to hook itself into the main game. But the BattleTech mod loader, as well as ModTech, enables you to use mods really easily. From that point on, you just make a mods folder and just dump mods into that folder, and they'll automatically be loaded on Game Start, which is really good. Because otherwise, installing mods in BattleTech, like, it's not sort of supported out of the box, so it gets a little tricky, but with this, it's good. But keep in mind, you're downloading, you know, code that someone else wrote on the internet, running EXEs and adding DLLs to your game, which, you know, could be filled with all sorts of horrible nonsense. So, you know, as always, be cautious, but mostly seems okay. Thanks for watching. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.